everybody, welcome to DryerDays Art Studio. I'm Catherine. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to work on these navy blue and gold coasters today. These were so easy to make. I learned a couple things. This is great for the beginner who's just wanting to get into resin. So let's get right into the video. First of all, I'm going to use my DryerDays round geode coasters that you can only find at DryerDaysArtStudio.com. I designed these coasters and I had a company make them and no one else can carry them, so these are just mine. We're going to be using my darkest blue color cream, which is a pigment paste that I also formulated and made. It's a beautiful dark blue. I was looking for a really dark blue, not quite royal, but just a really deep blue. You want to mix up the paste really good before you use them, just to get a nice consistency, make sure the color is evenly distributed. And it just helps to keep the pigment nice and fresh too if you're occasionally mixing it up, especially with my gold metallic color cream. That is a very heavy aluminum base of metal. It's gonna sink and kind of separate, so you definitely want to make sure you're mixing it really well. And I have some pre-mixed to the left here Total Boat epoxy. I'm going to be using their tabletop epoxy for these coasters because I do find that the tabletop epoxies are more durable, their heat resistance is higher, and they're just better for things like coasters that are more of a functional art piece. And here's that gold metal that I was talking about, and you can see here how it has separated. So I'm just going to take a stick and just gently mix it in here so I don't spill any. And you can see it mixes up just fine, just takes a second. And then we'll have a beautiful gold metal pigment paste. Again, these are all available at DryerDaysArtStudio.com. And as you can see, I'm really only using a few products here. We're using the darkest blue color cream. We're using the gold metal color cream. I've got some gold leaf up there. And I am going to use some holographic gold glitter, which you don't really see in the final video, and that's where I kind of had a learning experience here. We'll talk about that in a second. But normally I will use some dry mica pigments in my coasters, and this was my first time using only pigment paste in my coasters. And pigment paste is a lot heavier, as I'm sure you can imagine, than a mica powder pigment, and so we'll see how the holographic gold glitter works with that in these coasters. Okay, and here's that holographic gold glitter. It's beautiful. It's a really fine glitter. It's absolutely beautiful. I also have a holographic silver, and one of my customers recommended I get a holographic gold, and when you guys ask, you receive. So this is a really pretty color. I'll make a note here too that I'm no longer using the biodegradable bags. All the glitters have been put back in jars, so if you still get a random bag here or there, that should be really segueing out here shortly. I have almost no bags of glitter left, and what I do have left we're trying to get into jars. So I know some people were having issues with the bags, and again, you guys, you come to me with any of these things, and I aim to please, so we're putting the glitters all back into jars. I pointed out there to that one coaster that when I poured the holographic gold into the cup, a little bit of glitter floated down and got onto the surface of the mold. So I'm just going to use some masking tape here to lightly pick up any of that glitter that might have gotten on the gold, or the silicone mold, I'm sorry. And I do always recommend before use that you guys gently wash your silicone molds, just because stuff can get on them, and it can make it hard for the resin to adhere nicely to the mold. So I just always recommend gently washing before, never using a torch or open flame on your molds, and you'll be able to use them time and time again. This is probably the 5th time I've used these molds at least, and they're still in perfect condition. Alright, so as you saw there, I put a little bit of clear resin right in the center of each of these molds. I'm going to hit with a little bit of heat just to pop any bubbles. Light heat, you don't need a lot, and if you mix your resin properly, you really shouldn't have too many bubbles to begin with. So, start off with a good base of not having too many micro bubbles in your resin, and it'll help you throughout the rest of this process. So I knew I wanted to have a central focal point with the gold leaf here. And I'm just using some tweezers, and I'm going to place it around in the middle of the mold, right on top of that clear little dot that I did of the resin. you've seen any of my other coaster or mold videos, you know that I like to sort of build, get a good base going. And so now I'm going to come in with that darkest blue. Oh, it's just a beautiful color. I love it. And we're going to come around that center clear. And now we're going to use some of that gold metal, excuse me. And just going around the same pattern for each of these. Again, these are really, really easy. This is great for the beginner. I find the molds are perfect for beginners because it's a really small area of working and you can kind of take your time. It's not like a big art piece where you're really trying to watch where your resin's going and being conscious of all these variables that are going on. So if you are new to resin, I really do highly recommend getting some molds. And I have a ton over in my store, DryerDaysArtStudio.com. A lot of them are on sale right now too. And actually June is my birth month, so I decided to make shipping free for the month of June for US orders over $100. And of course I also have the June art box too if you guys want to check that out. They're selling pretty fast. I don't have too many left. So now I'm using a little bit of holographic gold glitter, and I wanted this to sit on top as much as possible, but what I learned with using pigment paste, and this happens a lot with certain glitters, is that they will sink to the bottom. Now I will say with my glitters, they don't typically do this as they're really lightweight and they're a higher quality glitter, but I think what happened here was the paste, it's so much more dense than a mica powder, and it essentially kind of sucked that holographic gold in. It almost like swallowed it up. And so on the bottom side of these coasters you can really see that holographic gold really well, and on the top you can see sort of a sprinkling of it when you're looking at it, especially when I show it out in the light of the sunlight in the mountains. You can see it kind of sparkling in there, but we definitely lost a lot of it here. And I would encourage, if you are using paste and you really want that glitter to be seen on top, that you give the resin some time, let it thicken up quite a bit, and then kind of lay that resin glitter on the top. I will have another video coming out probably next week of some red coasters in a tray where I use glass glitter, and glass glitter is so heavy, obviously it always sinks, and I show in that video how you can really get it to sit on top. And also too, we have this gold leaf that we're working with here too, and that can sink as well, but obviously leaf is very, very, very light, so this was sitting on top pretty well for me. And again, if you know me at all with my videos and my coaster making, I like to build and build and build and build and keep going over the same spots. And so I'm going to time lapse and speed through here. That's what I'm going to do. What I'm doing right here, drizzling that dark blue over the gold leaf, is that I really wanted you to be able to see the gold leaf. I wanted it to pop out. I didn't really want any clear negative space in these, so I decided to kind of darken that up. And you know, as you're working, like I just changed my mind there on this. As you're working, if you change your mind, just go for it. Just go for it. I want to encourage the beginner, just go for it. Even if you're watching a million of these YouTube videos and a bunch of us doing things and you're like, oh, I have to do it just like them. No, you don't. Do it how you want to do it. If you have a gut instinct or a thought pops into your head about a way of doing it, just do it and you'll probably really surprise yourself. So I'm going to speed through here. We will finish these up, pouring the resin, and I will see you guys in a minute. So just finishing out here, doing some final touches. Now, as you can see here, I have a little bit of separation as I'm adding more gold metal or glitter or even the blue in. And I wanted these colors to really be married together. I wanted that blue and that gold to really mesh well together. The heat will give you that effect if you kind of hover long enough and apply that heat gun to the pigments. They will sort of blend and marry together. Also here, I'm going to spritz these really quickly with some rubbing alcohol. That helps to get any of the last micro bubbles off the surface off, and you'll see how it like morphs and really helps those colors blend together. So I had a little bit of clear leftover resin that I poured in my geode clustered mold here. I knew that each of the silicone molds takes about 2 to 2.5 ounces of resin each, so I usually make about 10 ounces total for a 4 set of coasters, but I knew that I needed to make some of these because I'm working on another geode video and I wanted to have some clusters made. So I'm just working a little bit of the clear resin in the little nooks and crannies with an orange stick to get any bubbles out and make sure we have resin all the way down in there, hitting with some light heat. And these you can spritz too with that rubbing alcohol on the top to help pull any bubbles out. Also, since working on that little geode clustered mold killed a little time, now our resin has thickened up a little bit. If you want to add any more gold leaf here to really make it pop out, you can do that. This is a good time because that resin is thickening up and it's really going to stay on the top well. Okay, so this is about 36 hours later. Fun part, demolding. And you can see how that holographic gold glitter really sunk to the bottom on these. And again, I really think that's because we use paste on these and not just light mica pigments. And I did use quite a bit of rubbing alcohol too on these to pop bubbles. And as you saw it sort of morphing, it almost kind of pushed the glitter to the bottom. So I think it was a combination of the two things. But the gold and the blue went really nicely together in these. And here's that cluster that I was working on with the clear. It's really pretty. Here's a couple other ones too. These are all in my store too. I only have a few of these because I was buying these for a project for myself and I thought I'd get a few more to keep in the store. So if you want to check those out, those are at DryerDaysArtStudio.com as well in the silicone products section. So I'm just going to use this gold metallic Sharpie. And I'm going to come around the top inner rim of these. I'm not going to do any of this gold on the sides because I thought the sides look really, really cool. But I do think that adding a little bit of an edge with some metallic marker or gilding paint or a leaf really helps these pop out. It gives some more dimension to the coasters. They look beautiful without, but it just adds something a little extra. But see how cool the sides look? I decided I wanted to leave those alone. So I'm just going to do the top here. And here they are, all done. This is inside and some natural lighting. You can see how that edge just gives them a little something. Just kind of ties it all together. The gold leaf in there looks beautiful. I'm really happy with how these turned out here. And this is out in the mountain sunshine. There you can see that holographic gold, how glittery it is. And I think these just turned out really, really lovely. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell so that you know every time I publish a new video. And I hope I can see you guys over on my Instagram at DryerDays. Thanks again for watching, everybody. And until next time, keep on pouring.